The way that you teach kids at the moment, and it's just so free learning, do you think it's the same way that adults also need to be taught when we're talking about, like, for example, corporate training? In your opinion, do you think it's the same way to let them choose how they want to understand and learn content?
I think trust is a major thing in our organizations right now. I've got 25 teachers working here, okay? Now I could sit them all down and tell them how to teach. I could say, guys, this is the deal. This is how you teach. You do this, you say that, you sit here, you turn this page here. But I'd be missing out on all of their skill sets. I think that what we need to do is have trust from the top down in our organizations, and understand that each and every one of our employees comes with a different skill set. But if we don't acknowledge, we actually miss out on. And I can got a tangible example for you if you want.
Please.
And that is that I have a teacher here, and one day there was a knock at the door. I opened the door, there's a man just standing there. I said, hello. He said, hello, I follow you online and I want to be a teacher at your school. And I said, are you a teacher? And he said, I am a sports teacher for high school, but I'm not a primary school teacher. And I said, okay, well, have you done any teaching before? He said, yeah, I've done quite a bit of teaching before. I said, wonderful. I said, what have you been doing in all the time that you haven't been teaching? He said, I'm a chef and a restaurateur. And I said, wonderful, tell me all about it. So anyway, he told me about some of the restaurants he'd opened, X, Y, Z. Anyway, so I said, look, I don't have a job at the moment, but why don't you come in and volunteer? I'm teaching for a few weeks in class. You can work with me and I can give you some ideas. And I didn't really have a job. I just thought, we'll see, maybe I can give him some guidance and he'll get a job somewhere else or whatever was going to happen. Anyway, a job came up at school and I offered it to him. I said, look, you're natural with the children and you've probably got a lot of things you can bring to this school. You're already a teacher, so we can work together. Anyway, a couple of months later, he's teaching the evolution of man, which is a Montessori lesson about where humans evolved from. I experienced this amazing lesson where he sits with a group of children, 4 or 5 kids. And if he wasn't a chef, then this would never have happened. If I told him how to teach, we would never have this. But I gave him trust and said, you've got to teach this concept. What's the best way of getting the results out of the children? So he's teaching evolution of man. And the story is that, your great-great-grandfather was a fish, right? Because you've evolved from fish, it came out of the ocean. Anyway, on the table, he has a big trout, a rainbow trout, covered with a blanket, like a little damp tea towel. Kids are sitting there. He says, today, guys, we're going to learn about the evolution of man. Let me first tell you that your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a fish. And all the little kids were laughing like, oh my God, my great-grandfather was a fish. That's so funny. Anyway, the children hold up their hands and shine a torch to their hands. He then shows them an X-ray of a human skeleton of a hand and the phalanges in between. They're like, wow, yes, I've already seen that before. He then reveals the fish. They're all like, wow, there's a full fish here. And they touch it, they touch the eyeball and the scales and everything. And then he lifts up the fin and shines a torch to the fin. And you see the children's eyes go, oh God. And one child picks up the X-ray and looks at and then realize it's exactly the same structure. Human hand and this rainbow trout's fin, exactly the same. One child says, hey, it's the same. It's the same. Anyway, they have this amazing story then about the evolution and how fish evolved from the ocean onto the land and da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, at the very end, they take the fish to the kitchen, they fillet it, they cut the fish meat out, they make fish tacos, they eat the fish, they recycle the waste. He teaches them indigenous history, indigenous culture, where nothing is ever wasted, sustainability. And this lesson, which started off as just teach the children about the evolution of man, ended up as an entire concept, which is the length and breadth of the entire country and human civilization. And I thought, if I'd have told him how to teach that, it would never be as good as that.
Wow.
It would have been half of that. And so, I think that going back to your initial question, and I know that I answer them in very elongated ways, but going back to your initial question, how should we run our corporations? We should run them with trust, because our employees come in with a plethora of skills that we often brush under the carpet because we say, right, I've worked in this industry for 25 years. Let me tell you how to do it. And if you don't do it like this, well, it's wrong. And that's not right.